It's a pleasure being here in Karachi, particularly with so many references about being the gateway to Pakistan. But let me start with an apology, because this is a great setting for the conference. A lot of effort has gone by all the organizers and those that work behind the scenes. And I wasn't supposed to arrive too early. So apologies for that, but it's also because I actually enjoy talking to all of you. I consider part of my job that listening to your comments will educate me, I will learn more, and it will actually help me to bring that information, the positives as well as the concerns, to the conversations at IMO. Many of you will know that IMO, it's 176 member states, all with different opinions, all with their own priorities, but at the same time, they share the same goals. And you are not exception. The focus of this conference is sustainability, and that's at the core of the work of IMO. And from the Secretary of the Ministry of Maritime Affairs this morning, he gave a very passionate opening address. And I want to thank you for that, because you don't only highlighted the commitment from the government, but you recognize that there are further areas where work needs to be done, but also the commitment to sustainability and to complying with the IMO regulations. And I can guarantee that we will continue to support Pakistan through our projects, through our technical cooperation and capacity building. And I want to encourage the government of Pakistan, and in particular the Ministry of Maritime Affairs, to reach out to us in order to be an active participant in those projects. We have several that actually addresses the environmental concerns that you have, from transboundary species to the recovery of the ecosystems, to avoiding plastic pollution from ships. And yes, the majority of the plastic pollution that ends up on the coast comes from the land. But we can share the experience in how confined spaces like ships sailing around the globe have been able to manage and contain plastic pollution. And we have a strategy to eradicate the single-use plastic on board ships. And there are several major companies that are already on board and taking actions in order to implement this strategy. Because the environment is about what we do in order to make it sustainable. It's those actions that we promote, but we also take part in fulfilling those goals. And here, the chairman for the Karachi Port Trust, I also want to thank you for highlighting the engagement and the support that you provide to society. And that is hugely relevant. And I would encourage you to continue to do more if possible. In seeing your presentation, I can understand the challenges in expanding the port of Karachi, where you have the community surrounding it, but you have managed to do it. And now that you're looking into expanding on the terminals for LNG and LPGs, perhaps you can also take this opportunity to follow up the developments at IMO on new and alternative fuels that will allow us to achieve decarbonization of the international shipping fleet by around 2050, and see which other opportunities are there for new type of fuels. Methanol, for example, that I'm understanding has great potential in Pakistan. So thank you for that. Share your experiences. And another invitation is to take part in activities that are taking place around the world with ports in different parts, in different regions, and they are called the Green Maritime Corridors. By establishing these agreements, you can not just learn from what other ports are doing in order to enhance their efficiency, the digitalization in the ports, but also trade and how they are going to meet the challenges of decarbonization. That would allow you to also perform better in your strategies as you develop and increase trade. Because you hear it, 50% of trade if not more. I think it's 90%, I probably got it wrong. 90% of trade, it actually depends from the city of Karachi and the port of Karachi. It's a huge potential. It's a threat as well, because you need to continue to expand. But I've always encouraged everyone to focus on the opportunities, because the challenges are well known. At IMO, that's what we're doing. We know that the green transition will not be free of charge. We all have to contribute, we all have to take part on this. Even every one of us, global society, because now in the world that we live in, we want things for tomorrow. Sometimes we order things on the internet and we want it from yesterday. That has a cost. And the cost is the increased efficiency, the increased protection of the environment, and the real sustainability of shipping. But at the same time, we are developing technical and pricing mechanisms in order to support this transition. On the technical aspects, there's also incentivizing technological development. And we've seen the return of wind as propulsion, which assisting the vessels to reduce or increase efficiency, I'd rather say, by around 50 to 55%. The development of new fuels also bring the challenges of safety, which we are addressing at the organization, together with the enhanced training of the labor workforce. And again, that provides opportunities for you, because you can increase the number of seafarers from Pakistan around the globe. We have a shortage of qualified seafarers, and it will be more acute as we move forward towards the decarbonization, particularly with our first goal of reducing emissions by 20 to 30% by 2030. But again, focus on the opportunities, and it's how you can increase and improve training, how you promote the qualified seafarers that you have. And again, I go back to giving back to society, as it was mentioned by the Karachi Port Trust chairman. And yesterday in Islamabad, I was very well received, very well treated, and I thank you for the hospitality. And I have very good meetings where the commitment from the government of Pakistan is clear into developing further the maritime sector. My plea to you is that when you set up those strategies, those goals, you then develop the action plans to deliver it, because that's what we are doing. The way that I'm transforming technical cooperation is to carry out an analysis of the countries, what are the needs, create a priority, and then provide the support. And then come back in a few years' time and measure the effectiveness of our support, the plans that have been installed and put in place, and the actions that the countries have taken. That would allow me to reach out to new and existing donors and demonstrate that we have tangible results that would allow the countries like Pakistan to then implement those national strategies. But I need your support on this. And the first instant is going to be with the launch of the SenseRec project between IMO and Pakistan, with the support from the governments of China and Norway, and I want to appreciate that support, as well as the participation and collaboration from the International Labour Organization. Because as we transition to new fuels, to new ships that are going to allow us to meet the goals of decarbonization, we're also going to have an increase in ship recycling. And you are a leading country in ship recycling. And I want to have this opportunity to appreciate the fact that I will be visiting tomorrow some of those facilities and learn at first hand into what has been done, what needs to be done, what are the challenges and the barriers, and how IMO can support you. But there is commitment as well for the government, because it recognizes on how this industry, ship recycling, also supports the national economy. And we need to invest. And I will always encourage the governments and all stakeholders to invest in providing incentives and providing support. The Convention of Ship Recycling, the Hong Kong Convention, will enter into force in June next year. There is still time to work on this. But trust me, it's better that we have one global instrument for a global sector. If the convention doesn't enter into force, if the convention is not implemented, then we will have regional regulations that would apply to ship recycling that will not support and will not benefit countries like Pakistan, which are big ship recycling nations. So work with me in improving and demonstrating that the Ship Recycling Convention brings benefits, that is going to enhance the safety of the workforce in ship recycling facilities, that it's also going to provide and allow us to safely and sustainably recycle the ships until when they come to the end of their life, and that we're going to manage the hazardous materials in the way that we're supposed to, and we're expected to, because it's our obligation to have a sustainable maritime sector. That's the topic of the conference. And this is what I want you all to focus on. And with all that, of course, we need to look at how we bring the new generations into the maritime sector. Because I just mentioned the lack of qualified seafarers or shortages of qualified seafarers. And the maritime sector provides, with trade, a plethora of opportunities for jobs. And here, one of my objectives is to be more open, more transparent as organizations and as a sector, more inclusive, as you heard this morning as well, from the very passionate delivery, more diverse, and we need to encourage and allow and promote the participation of more women in the maritime sector. And that's one of my main commitments. And I also want to thank the minister because he mentioned it yesterday, how there is a commitment to continue to engage and bring that part of the population into our sector. Because we are the United Nations. IMO is part of that family. And when we all talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, we support all 17 of them. I didn't want to come here and repeat some of the words that I said yesterday, because some of you have heard me, and I try not to do that. I didn't want to come and then just start talking about the different IMO regulations, because that probably will be easy for me. Having said that, when we talk about digitalization, you have an opportunity in, hopefully in the future, ratifying the Facilitation Convention. You are already implementing the Maritime Single Windows, and I praise you for that. I also encourage you to be very proactive in the meetings at IMO, particularly when it comes to autonomous shipping, because that's also going to bring additional aspects of digitalization. And it's going to support ports like Karachi, because the more that you bring digitalization and automation, you actually become more efficient. And that makes the port more attractive to international trade. So I'm doing it all in reverse this time, and that's what I started with the apology. And now I want to appreciate the invitation by the government of Pakistan, the hospitality. Minister of Maritime Affairs, I know you're very busy, and you took the time to accompany me to here to Karachi, and that demonstrates the importance and the commitment to continue to support this sector in this maritime nation. The Chief Minister as well for taking the time to come over and as well recognize that Pakistan is committed to meet the goals of IMO and to implement the regulations. Excellencies, distinguished guests, your presence here actually demonstrates that we have work to do, that you have a passion for this sector, and that you want to continue to improve. I look forward to continue talking to all of you at some point during today and tomorrow. I did say that one of the advantages, sorry, I said this yesterday, just to clarify, one of the advantages of coming to Pakistan early in my tenure is that it will give me the opportunity to return to this beautiful country in the future. Get to say hello to you again, ask you what have you done since our conversation this time, and of course, measure what has been the progress. And that would allow me to continue to improve the support and assistance that at IMO we provide to the member states. Always remember the future generations. are the ones that are going to take over from us. Continue to engage with everyone in the sector. Learn from others, even from your competitors. In ship recycling, I encourage you to support each other and not to work in isolation. And that would allow you to bring ship recycling to the level that is expected with the entry into force of the Ship Recycling Convention. And I look forward to further, getting excited here, I look forward to further news about the developments in the port of Karachi, and of course, look forward to the exhibition later. I tried to pick this morning, but I realized that I prefer to do that with the company of all of you here today. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been a pleasure addressing you and having the chance to visit Pakistan for the first time and hopefully not for the last. Enjoy the day. Thank you.